Good day. I'm just sitting quietly in the shed making notes, looking at the raindrops dropping off plants, particularly the beans. It's been a day of rain really, sometimes quite heavy. At the moment it's quite light. A few minutes ago I could hear it falling onto the roof of the shed. Now it's sort of quite quiet because it's eased off quite a bit, and that's really been how it's been through the day. No rain, spitting heavy rain, no sunshine today though. But you know what, the ground is really desperate for rain, and the plants are going to benefit so much more from rain than they do from the tap water. I mean, of course, when it hasn't rained and we do use the tap water, that's going to be of huge benefit for the plants, simply because it keeps them alive and keeps them growing. But water from the skies is far, far better. And if you do have a water tank fitted to your shed or your greenhouse, that again is going to be much better than tap water. But we don't really have on our shed here or the polytunnel a way of capturing that water, simply because I haven't done anything about it. We do have how many, 350 litre water butts on the communal shed, so we can use that water, obviously. As I start talking about water and the benefit of rain, I think it's actually stopped. Isn't that typical? But yeah, what we have had and what we are due to have over the coming hours will really benefit the plants. Interestingly, and I know this is famous last words, but interestingly, I haven't seen a single slug so far. I've seen plenty of frogs in our pond, and a skanky frog came out today to give me a greeting. So Skanky Frog jumped onto the path as I was walking by. So they're all up and at it. Maybe they're up and at it and eating the slugs, which of course would be fabulous. Yeah, I do need to lop those beans. You can see how they've gone well above the bean cane, so I need to lop those so that those beans bush out, because they're only going to sort of drop down. In fact, maybe that's something I can do now. Yeah, why don't I just do that with a pair of scissors? Job done. Hopefully that will mean they don't grow up anymore, or the ones that I cut don't grow up and they start bushing out down below and giving us more harvests. Not that we've had a harvest from them yet. I do know that the Shaz's Scarlet Emperor runner beans on the right are beginning to produce beans, and the Golden Gate on the left are beginning to flower. The Madeira Maroon in the middle seem really quite slow. I'm not sure if you can see that, but yeah, they seem quite slow. Anyway, look, I've done a job today, so I'm quite pleased about that. I've been checking out the seeds in the paper bag, and yeah, they're all they're all drying really well. In fact, I think they're all dry, so I think next week I'll start really giving them a good scrunch in the paper bag so that the seeds come out of the pods, fall into the paper bag, and then obviously the rest, the pods, the stalks, which are all well dried, can go into the compost. There's a few parakeets around this afternoon, which is interesting because I have seen a peregrine falcon around as well, and the parakeets have generally been avoiding the area because of the peregrine falcons we've got around here at the moment, but maybe they decided to have a day trip. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I will see you again very soon. Oh, and welcome to this first segment of this second part of this week's A Week at the Plot. Bye. Good day. I've just harvested our raw beans for seed, for save seed. Few of them, maybe about 20%, have got blemishes on them. So I'm going to check online about that to see if that's bean fly or something like that. But even though these feel and sound absolutely bone dry, I'm going to take them home and leave them like this for about a week. Just let them dry out at home in case there's any further moisture to come out of them. And then they're going to go into this glass jar, and then this glass jar with the beans in it will go into our freezer for 3 or 4 days. So this is the Koanga Institute method, and what it basically does is any bean fly that may be in the beans gets killed off in that process. And then once they've been in the freezer for 3 days, sometimes I leave them longer because I just forget they're in there, I'll take them out. I won't unseal the jar, I'll just put a label on the outside and put it straight into our fridge and keep these in the fridge. But as I say, those that have got quite a bit of speckles on, I will just check what that might be online. I think it might be bean fly, but I do need to check. Yay for tomato frames. So this one is up. So obviously vertical bamboo going up, bamboo going along, struts going across to stabilize a bit. And then what I do is I string up the tomatoes so it gets tied loosely around the stem, and then I just bring it right up and then loop it around here. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, hopefully. And then as they grow, I'll wind them around. You can see that one's sort of wound around a little bit there. I mean, I think I'm being generous in the height of this frame, given where these are at the moment. They're only about, most of them are maybe about a foot, foot and a half high. I put the verticals in over on this bed here and over on that bed there, and will most probably be back later to complete the tying up. Those two beds are tomatoes that we got from the gate sale, or the after gate sale if you like, and there's another bed up there which has got tomatoes in as well, and I put the verticals in that. But yeah, I'm just pleased to have this frame up now. We had a huge amount of wind yesterday. I don't mean personally, I mean across England, and 50 miles an hour gusts, I think, and it really was windy. I expected when I came down to see some of the tomatoes which are in the ground but hadn't had any support sort of fallen over and flattened and maybe even broken, because when I plant my tomatoes out, I leave them without any support, without a cane or a frame, for several weeks so that they can really strengthen. And when I came down, all of them were absolutely fine. They'd been buffeted by very strong winds, but were fine. So one other thing, I did the front, the door of the shed at the beginning. I think it's really good to put a pipe down. So what I did is I've got a sort of metal pole that I put to hold the door back. But the thing is, it can blow in the wind. So what I did at the beginning is I banged a pipe down, and that pipe will remain solid, and then I can just put the metal pole into that. Oh, there's a magpie at the top of the shed. So yeah, pleased to have got the tomato frames at least begun and that one sorted. So that's really good. The other thing I'm pleased about is that we've started harvesting cucumbers. You may remember that last year we saved seed from a cucumber that was a bit square and a cucumber that was very round. I think that one's a little bit square. Look at that. We only sowed the seed from the square cucumber that we saved. So I don't know. A bit odd. But yeah, that's going to be had for lunch, which is rather lovely. And there's an awful lot more coming. Because that wind was so dry, yesterday, so strong and so drying, I will be back later to do some watering, and if I have time I'll carry on with the frames. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there for today and for this week's A Week at the Plot. If you have any questions, please do leave them down below, any comments as well, and I will see you again on Planet Vegetaria throughout the week for further segments of A Week at the Plot, or I'll see you in a week's time for 2 further parts of A Week at the Plot. See you very soon, and happy growing. Butterfly. Bye.